Okay, given an unsorted array of integers, find a subarray which adds to a given number. If there are more than one subarray with sum as the given number, print any of them. So let's get an example going. We've got -8, 2, 10, -20, and 10. And let's put our target at -10. Okay, so what we need to do is figure out a way to find this target within a subarray. So as we know, we can find a subarray between 2 and 3 here that's going to equal -10. There's also one here between 3 and 4, but we can just return the first one that we see. Okay, so in order to do this, I think it's important to kind of see, like, what do we know? We know that we can keep a current sum, and that's going to kind of be from 0 to n. And I'm thinking if we store our current sum at different points along the way, like what indice gave us that sum, I think we can utilize that information. So we can call the map being storing like 0 to m. So if current sum were the first two indices, then it's 0 to 1, where 1 is m. So what we need to think about also is that our target is essentially m plus 1 to n, because it's essentially what we're doing. If we look at these two elements that make our target, is that if we had this as 0 to n across here, and this is 0 to m, we're essentially subtracting those from the two. We're subtracting current sum, and we're subtracting that amount that we found in our map, and that's going to equal our target. So what we can do before we put something in the map is see if we have seen it before, or see if we've seen the 0 to m part before. So as we keep our current sum, we can go, okay, is current sum minus our target in the map? Because if current sum minus target is in the map, then we would see it. Like if -6 were in the map for the -8 plus 2, then we would see it here, and we would say, okay, then I know that this part, the 0 to n part, or the m plus 1 to n part, these two elements make up my target, so I know that these are the elements that I want to subtract out of it. All right, so let's go ahead and walk through this just to kind of see, make sure it works. Can clean that up a little bit. Okay, so first current sum is -8, because we're right here. We look, is -8 equal to -10? It's not. So we want to look and see if we found it in our map. So we take current sum minus target. So -8 minus target is -10 minus -10. That equals 2. And we look at our map. There is no 2 in there. So that means that we want to put current sum, because that's the piece that makes sense to us, the -8. And we know that that is the sum that we have when we're at the 0 index. Okay, and then we increase our n to the next element, it's n, and we say -8 plus 2, that is -6. And then we want to look at it, that is not equal to our target. So we say -6 minus -10, and that equals 4. So we look at our map, and 4 is not in our map. So we add the current sum, -6, to our map, and we know that, now we know that from 0 to m, 0 to our first index, we had a current sum of -6. And we increase n. Okay, and now it's at 10. 10 plus -6 gives us +4. 4 minus -10 equals 14. And it's not equal to our target. And we look at our map, and it is not in the map. 14 is not in the map. So we add current sum to the map, and we know that we have that current sum at position 2 in the array, or index 2. Okay, so then we increase n, and n is at -20. -20 plus 4 is -16. And we look at our target. It is not equal to the target, so it's time to go to the map. We take -16, we subtract -10, and that equals -6. So we go and look at our map, and we see if it exists. Yes, -6 is in our map. So that means we know that the target sum is found between, it's m plus 1, so between indices 2 and n, which is at 4. Oh, sorry, it's at 3. So between indices 2 and 3, we found -10. And it's that simple. So let's go ahead and code this. I'm going to go ahead and make a little room. Okay. So we've got public, and let's just return a string of whether or not we found it, and then the console can print that out. So public string find target, and it gets an array of ints, and it gets the target. Okay. First, we want to make sure that we have a proper array to work with. So if array.length equals 0, then we need to return a message like array is null or something. You could also throw an exception. It really just depends on how you want to handle the errors. Otherwise, we're going to go into our algorithm. So first of all, we're going to definitely need a dictionary to store these 0 to m results. So let's make a dictionary. We'll just call it a map equals new dictionary. Oh, and we need to actually specify its ints. Okay, and here we would have int in there before it says map. And then we are going to also need our current sum. And we can just start that at 0. Okay, and what we want to do is just loop through this array. So for int I equals 0, I is less than array.length I plus plus. Okay, and first thing we did, we want to add current sum to n. So where we are in the array. So we can use I for n, and we can just say current sum plus equals array at I. Okay, and then the next thing we did is we looked at whether or not that was equal to the target. If current sum equals the target, then we know that from 0 to n, was our target. So we know that it started at 0. So if current sum, if current sum equals target equals target, then we can return something like target found at 0 to I. Or no, actually, yeah, 0 to I. Okay. All right. And otherwise, we're going to keep going. And oh, and we would also want to, no, we're good there. Okay, we can get rid of that. Okay, and then we want to look and see, okay, if we didn't find, if the current sum doesn't equal target, we have to look and see if it's in the map. So if map contains the key, and again, we're looking for that current sum minus the target. And if it contains it, then we know we found it. And so then we would just return the indices that it's in. Let's go ahead and get that value. We want the map at current sum minus target, and we want to add 1 to that. And then we return something like target found at plus value to plus I. Okay, and then in that if statement, let's just put some parentheses just to be cleaner. Okay, and then, okay, if that condition didn't happen and this first one didn't happen, then we know we need to actually add it to the map because we haven't, it doesn't already exist in the map. So map, I'm gonna add to it. Current sum is the key, and I is the index. Okay, and let's see. I think that covers all the conditions that we want to take care of inside of our for loop. If we go through the whole for loop and don't return anything, then we didn't find anything that is reaching our target. So then we can just return some message like target not found. Okay, that's the end of our else and the end of our function. Okay, let's walk through this and see how it works. Okay, so let's also keep track of I just to stay organized. And we know our array length is 5. Put a little note there. Okay, so first thing we do, if array.length equals 0, which it doesn't, otherwise we're going to go in, we're going to make our dictionary, and current sum is going to start at 0. And we go into our for loop, and I starts at 0. And if I is less than array.length, which is 5, so we can go in and say current sum plus array at I equals current sum. So -8 plus 0 equals -8. And we go in. If current sum equals to target, okay, I get -8 does not equal -10. Then we look and we see if the map has current sum minus target, which -8 minus -10 is 2. Map does not have 2 as its key, which means that it's not in the map yet, so we need to add it to the map. So we get down here to map.add current sum, and it is going to add 0. And then we come down and go I++. So I is now 1, 1 is less than 5. All right, current sum plus equals array at I, so we're now at 2. So -8 plus 2 is -6. Is -6 equal to -10? No, it's not. Does the map contain the key of current sum minus target? So -6 minus -10 is 4, and the map does not have a 4. So we know we need to go down here and add the map, or add the current sum to the map. So -6, and that's at I, which is 1. Okay, and then I++. Okay, so now we're looking at 10, 1, and I is 2, and 2 is less than 5. So we do get to go into our for loop, and we are at 10. So -6 plus 10 equals 4. Okay, 4 does not equal -10. So we need to see if map contains the key at current sum minus target. So 4 minus -10 is 14. We look at our map, there is no 14. So we go down here, map.add current sum at I. Okay, I++ is 3. 3 is less than 5. So current sum is now looking at this -20. So -20 plus 4 is -16. All right, is -16 equal to -10? No, it's not. Does the map contain the key current sum minus target? So -16 minus -10 is -6. Let's look at our map. Yes, -6 is in the map. So we go down in here, and value is going to equal the map at the current sum minus target plus 1. So the value at this place is 1, and we add 1 to it. So then we return target found at 2, 2, and I is 3. So if we look, we've got 2 to 3. 10 plus -20 is -10, so it's all checking out. And this algorithm is going to solve this problem in linear time, so it is a big O of n for time complexity.